Hey guys, it's Tornado Boy 200 here, and today is Throwback Thursday, episode 4. Now, this is part 3 of the Leitchfield, Kentucky tornado that went through on May 23rd, 2000. And I'm sure y'all been listening to episode 2 and 3 about this tornado. Well, here's part 3 of the tornado. Throwback Thursday, episode 4, Leitchfield, Kentucky tornado of May 23rd, 2000, part 3. Guys, here we go. I think it's coming. We're having a little bit of issues here. Let me pause it till it comes. Alright guys, it's fixing to start.
How many of those workers were hurt? The worst was a severe head injury. That worker was flown to Louisville Hospital. Now, earlier today at a press conference, we spoke with the Grayson County Sheriff, Joe Brad Hudson, who talked about plans for the future. Security.
This is going to be the same thing that was in episode 2.
Get all the utilities going again and clean the mess up. There were 3 confirmed touchdowns of tornadoes this afternoon. One patrol officer said he saw one split in half earlier today. Now, they said it started about 6 miles west of here and stretched as far as 17 miles out to Nolan Lake in this area. Our Scott Lehman joins us live now. He was on the other side of town today, and Scott, just the devastation random.
Random is the best word to describe it, Sean. I mean, I saw buildings that were totally demolished, and then literally just hundreds of feet down the road, there would be buildings that were just left unscathed. So random is definitely the best way to describe it. Now, I do have some video to show you. I was on Highway 62 called Elizabethtown Road. That's near downtown Leitchfield. Now, apparently the Wilson Dentist office did take a hit from the storm, almost completely destroyed. The Bailey Lumber Company across the street from the Wilson Dentist office, I saw the roof completely ripped off it. And we also talked to the Burkhead Repair Shop.
It broke his leg. As far as we know, we can't get to the hospital. The phone lines are down. As far as we know, it just broke his leg.
Okay. Now, that lady was from the Burkhead Repair Shop. Apparently, that man was injured.
God, that guy's soaked.
As she says, he seems to be in good condition. Now, the funny thing about this, the dentists, they are twins. The Wilson brothers are twins, and it's their birthday today. So what a birthday present for them. But honestly, though, Leitchfield is very lucky that no one was killed in what was a very, very severe tornado.
Okay, Scott Lehman live here in Leitchfield. Thank you. And yes, as we know so far, 8 confirmed injuries, no fatalities to report, nothing is severe. The worst, one worker here, a head injury, flown to Louisville. As far as recovery efforts, they are setting up a temporary shelter at the Grayson County Middle School. About a half hour ago at that press conference, they told us there was no power, but as the sheriff said, they'll do whatever it takes. They'll get a generator running, whatever they need to do. So that is the plan so far. Scott will have more from the residential area here to find out how they're recovering with their efforts, and we'll have more of a wrap-up with the authorities here in town, who just left moments ago. Reporting live from Leitchfield for Scott Lehman, Sean Floss, News Center 13. Back to you, Amy and Jean.
All right, thanks very much, Sean, for that report. We look forward to more tonight at 10. Gene?
In other news, the 17-year-old Warren County boy will spend 20 years in prison. Barrett Lawrence was convicted of trying to rape.
Oh, Jesus, what happened?
Wind them quickly up.
Fox.
Also the people in St. Louis.
Yes,
I
because
want
the
them to
people
do
in
that.
St. Louis
Yeah.
have broken watches and clocks of their own.
I think we should concentrate on the rain to stop there.
Live. Good evening, I'm Sean Floss. Storm hitting our viewing area for most of the day. Our Jeff Noble has been tracking those storms for most of the day. He joins us now live from the First Alert Storm Center with more. Jeff?
Sean, since this morning, we have had 2 severe thunderstorm watches and 3 tornado watches in south central Kentucky. We are now in our third tornado watch. Let's go to next rad Doppler radar. We'll put this into motion for you. We're seeing some strong thunderstorms that are now moving into the eastern parts of Warren County and some of eastern Bowling Green at this time. Some of those producing some small hail, as we have heard from some viewers, and there's that particular storm now that's in parts of Bowling Green and eastern Warren County. Also a strong thunderstorm over in Logan County and Russellville that's dropping some hail there. And we're seeing some other areas of thunderstorms now to the south of Hopkinsville and back this way around Burkesville and also into Albany over in Cumberland and Clinton County. The general movement of all of this can here in Kentucky. Again, no warnings, but we do have a tornado watch for a good chunk of the viewing area, and that is now the third one for today. This one's in effect for just about all of the counties, with the exception of Russell and Clinton County, and they're very close to the watch area, so you folks there need to keep an eye out of the skies, too. This tornado watch continues now until 1 o'clock this morning. The possibility of strong thunderstorms, some of those could possibly be severe, some dangerous lightning, and also possibly some gusty winds and some small hail. And who knows, they could even produce some tornadoes with little or no notice. So we're still not out of the woods yet. We've got thunder and lightning here at the station right now. We'll be back with more on the forecast in just a few minutes. Sean?
Okay, Jeff, we'll see you then. You saw in that viewing area there, Grayson County was included for that tornado watch. Authorities there reported 3 tornadoes touched down in that area today. We have team coverage tonight. We'll begin in the hardest hit area at the Leitchfield Industrial Park. This furniture factory took the biggest hit, knocked out completely. Only 11 workers suffered minor injuries, though. A Grayson County sheriff says they knew the storm was coming.
They were working normally, and they had plenty of notice. Actually, we had officers out that were in the tornado on Lilac Road, so we knew exactly where it was the whole time, and people were notified all the way through.
One worker was flown to Louisville Hospital with a severe head injury, but Sheriff Hudson says if it wasn't for the alert of authorities, this could have been worse.
No way, the radio done an excellent job of letting us know that they spotted on Doppler radar, and then we went out there to watch for it come through McDaniels, and you could see it come through McDaniels and on into the northern part of the county.
Utility crews estimate some 3,000 customers will be without power throughout the night.
Those circuits are down because of broken lines. The rest of the service area is intact, so we're very fortunate with this kind of damage that we only sustained that.
And I think it's fortunate to have a small town that can pull together like that.
The tornado not only damaged some of the businesses in Leitchfield, it also cut through several communities. Now, our Scott Lehman got a first-hand look at some of the damage. He joins us live in the newsroom with more. Scott.
Sean, some field residents are without a place to live tonight after the tornado ripped through neighborhoods and homes. We talked to one family just hours after they lost their family house. The Everett family enjoyed their home for 15 years. A tornado took all that away in only a few seconds.
Half the floor is over behind us, and then half the floor is still there.
Raymond Everett was actually inside the house when the twister hit. He was with his wife and daughter in the basement, the only part of the home still standing.
We were under all of it, but fortunately it left us a path out, so we weren't trapped at any time.
Some of Everett's neighbors were lucky. There were only a few trees down at this home, but others lost just as much as Everett did. The tornado ravaged parts of town. This Litchfield truck repair shop was leveled, along with this dentist's office and parts of the Bailey lumber yard. Raymond Everett hasn't been in town to see what happened. He's still replaying the disaster in his mind.
The house was just rumbling. You can hear things breaking and crashing and the roaring sound, and, you know, we're just hoping that it didn't get us.
Soon reality sets in, and Everett says it's hard for him to control so many different emotions.
It was really a sad moment to walk out and see your house tore up, but then you've got to look around and all the people you care about survive, so that's the main thing.
Emergency officials are telling people who lost their homes in Litchfield to either go stay with friends, or they have set up a Red Cross shelter at the Grayson County Middle School. Now, we don't really know right now how many homes were damaged or lost, but officials are only reporting minor injuries, so that's good news, Sean.
Yes, it is. Okay, Scott Lehman live in our newsroom tonight. Thanks. Meanwhile, just to the south of us in Middle Tennessee, 2 tornadoes touched down this evening. The 2 tornadoes hit in the Knoxville area, causing damage to area homes and landscape. Heavy rain and high winds are being blamed for 20,000 people who are without electricity. There have been no reports of any serious injuries there. Back here, a 17-year-old Warren County teen accused of attempting to rape a toddler.
Look at me. So we just kept running.
People who came
Oh God,
to the
that
hospital had
channel
injuries
11's not
ranging
coming
from
in
a
good.
broken pelvis to debris in their eyes. Nothing life-threatening, but the hospital staff says many people were still very shaken by the experience.
Kind of across some houses today that were half collapsed, and that's real scary. And a lot of gas leaks going on, but I've went in fields and searched for trailers that have been blown apart.
Initial report said the twister was on the ground for only 3 to 4 minutes, but some areas to the east. That tore across what appears to be more than 10 miles of Grayson County.
It touches down about 4 miles west of Leitchfield, beginning with some maps. For more than 10 miles across Grayson County. At first, the homes are spread out, but every gathering and every yard shows the same sense of purpose and helplessness. It's continuing forward across fields and woods, and soon Leitchfield is in sight. More than a dozen homes on the northwest side finding themselves in the wrong place first. Roofs torn off, the twister picking up speed. Soon it's on the north side of town. An industrial park feels the full fury. A dozen businesses laid to waste, trucks strewn about like toys. More of the same at a furniture factory and a lumber yard. The building gone, but not a 2x4 out of
There's
place.
Walmart.
Soon it's Hop US 62 and more people are suddenly faced with rebuilding their lives. At least 9 houses leveled. From here, it appears to be gone. But it appears there are more than 5 miles to go, tearing across wilderness, the swath widening, blasting one last home off the foundation, and like that, it's gone. George Sells, WHAS 11 News 19.
And this afternoon, storms developed very quickly and they moved very fast.
Ken Schultz is in the Storm Team Weather Center now with more on the path of this devastation. Ken?
We tracked it moving southwards out of Breckinridge County earlier this afternoon, this particular storm. At that point in time, we were indicating a possible tornado on Doppler radar with its circulation across Rough River Lake, and then that storm really took form and took shape, and I've been watching and tracking a storm for a long time, and boy, that had a classic Hook echo with it as it passed to the north and east of Leitchfield. We also continue to see it track to the southeast across the eastern sections of Now that was this afternoon. This is now. This is Grayson County. Folks in Litchfield probably looking a little anxious to the west and southwest. There is a thunderstorm there in Millwood down to Adnetta. This storm is tracking to the southeast, will bypass Litchfield to the west. Not severe, but another dose of heavy rain in Grayson County right now. We'll be taking a complete look at our Doppler radar and the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Parents, grab your kids. Coming up, a story. First tonight at 5 o'clock, the small town of Leitchfield, Kentucky is picking up the pieces tonight after yesterday's tornadoes.
Julie Persley begins our team coverage live from Leitchfield. Julie?
Gene, so far, state officials have told us that about 80 to 100 homes have been damaged, about a dozen businesses that have been damaged that you can see just like one off behind us. Some of the officials are now just arriving on the scene to update folks exactly what has been going on. We do know that a total of 8 people were injured. Most of them have already been treated and released from the hospital. One person, Brian Cohn, was actually in his mobile home yesterday when it was picked up by the twister and thrown down on the ground. We asked Brian what it was like to survive a tornado.
I mean, it's a miracle, yes. You can't put it in words. Something you can't imagine.
When Brian Cohn saw what was left of his mobile home, he couldn't believe he'd survived the tornado that hit Leitchfield.
When I was laying on the couch, you could see out the window, and I seen the trees start touching the ground, so I turned over on the couch and hugged the couch, and next thing you know, I was out in the field.
Cohn has plenty of battle scars to prove he rode out the storm, but he says he doesn't remember much other than his trailer slamming into the ground.
The only thing I saw was the truck fall out of the sky and hit the ground. Other than that, that's all I've seen.
I'm glad he's still here, but all that is all. We lost everything.
The lieutenant governor surveyed damage to homes and the industrial park in Leitchfield. He said the state will try to help provide low-interest loans to help people rebuild, especially their homes.
Substantial damage. It's going to require a lot of rebuilding, it looks like, on some of these manufacturing facilities. A lot of homes were affected by it, but it only looks like there are probably 10 to 12 to 15 that would be totally destroyed. Nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of rebuilding for a lot of the other homeowners, but I think they're going to be salvageable.
As Cohn's family and friends salvaged what they could of his home, he counted his blessings.
I'm surprised I'm alive from the looks of things.
We're back out here live with Mary Searcy from the Community Action Council. Mary, we heard the Lieutenant Governor say about a dozen homes were destroyed. What are you folks doing trying to help the people who don't have a home tonight?
Okay, we have already put two families in permanent shelter. Today I have counseled with people who know they're going to have to pay rent and not be able to meet it this year, this month. And that's been the big thing today. I have been able to give food today. I have paid bills. I have harassed KU in Lexington about bills that have been blown away so that we can get them paid on time.
And earlier today, I wanted to point out, Lieutenant Governor Henry was saying that the people of Leitchfield were remarkable, the way they were coming out trying to help others. Have you noticed that as well?
That's always true. My office coordinates everything from Salvation Army, the Ministerial Association, American Legion. All these people are our resources, and we're able to call on them whenever we need them.
Okay, thank you very much, Mary Searcy. With the Community Action Council, as you heard, people in this area are pulling together, doing whatever they can to help pick each other up by their bootstraps, whether that's trying to find a new place to live or trying to get back into some of these businesses to pick up the pieces so they can get back to work as soon as possible. Reporting live from Litchfield, Julie Pursley, WHAS 11 News.
All right, Julie. The tornado that touched down in Litchfield, as Julie said, damaged about 150 homes and at least 15 businesses there.
And George Sells joins us now live from Sky 11 with an overhead view of the tornado's path. George?
Well, Gary, you look down on this scene and it's hard to imagine the feeling of helplessness many folks have down there. Take a look. This is just part of the 10-mile swath across Grayson County. Talking to folks on the ground, you get a sense of bewilderment, and the big question they're asking is, where do you start to rebuild? You take a look at the homes below us, and many they received varying levels of damage, but as you can see, many are simply totaled. The first step is the insurance coverage. Adjusters have been going house to house throughout the day, trying to get a feel for the work that needs to be done. I'll tell you what, you take a look at that, and you can see there is a lot of work indeed. Litchfield isn't alone, by the way, in Grayson County. We can't forget that. This thing went about 10 miles across Grayson County. Many homes received varying levels of damage, both to the west and to the east of Litchfield. Homes that were totaled as well in those areas. So a lot of people at this point are trying to pick up the pieces, looking down on this.
As one person to get life back to normal. This tornado was about a 4-mile trail of terror to get north town, traveled southeast. From up here in Air 3, you can really see the path, almost a straight line from north to the southeast.
Again, we're told about 80 homes in total were damaged. Here in the industrial park, about 4 or 5 buildings. In total, about a dozen businesses. And as for the monetary estimate, Jackie, it's too early to say, but again, conservative estimates put it in the multi-million dollar range. And coming up at 5:30, we're going to trace the path of this tornado from start to finish and show you very graphically just exactly how much damage was done. As Janet mentioned earlier, one of the things that strikes you is you look out the window and there's a home that's not even touched, and only 20 or 30 yards away, a home that is completely demolished. We're going to bring you some of those very, very graphic pictures coming up at 5:30 live from Air 3. I'm Chris Ferrante. Back to you, Jackie.
All right, thank you, Chris. And of course, the big challenge now for families, cleaning up, a whole lot of that to do, and rebuilding. Many will need help getting back on their feet. Wave 3's Jim Mayer continues our live team coverage from Leitchfield after hearing what the Lieutenant Governor had to say about the damage today. Jim?
Well, Jackie, the Lieutenant Governor saw firsthand the same things that we've been showing you from Air 3 throughout the day. He says he's particularly concerned about the 2,000 jobs that are in peril here in the industrial park because of the damage. He says the state's going to do whatever it can to get the industrial park and the homes and homeowners back on their feet. Lieutenant Governor Steve Henry inspected the damage to Leitchfield, both from the air and on the ground. The first step in asking for federal disaster relief and getting the tornado-damaged community back on its feet.
The issue is we need to make an assessment of the damage before we can even determine whether FEMA funds will be available or small business loans will be available. It's
neighborhood, Henry offered a comforting word to some who have lost nearly everything they have.
You were here last night when it hit?
Yeah, it was yesterday afternoon, about 1:55, 2 o'clock when it hit.
The Lieutenant Governor says the state is already mobilizing all the assistance it can to help victims of the tornado.
From Frankfurt, we've sent the Department of Unemployment already down here, all the way to the Kentucky Housing Corporation, to local government to see what kind of grants we can give this community for infrastructure needs. And so we've got 8 or 9 cabinets or agencies already down on the ground here in Leitchfield, in the Grayson County area.
But will still be another 2 days or so before there's any decision made whether to ask for federal disaster relief. Now, Governor Paul Patton is being kept up to date on the tornado damage here. He couldn't make the damage tour today because he's in Japan on another trade trip. Jackie?
You know, Jim, one thing I'm wondering about, how long before maybe those guys can, and men and women can go back to work, start making the paycheck again, because that's going to affect how they rebuild their homes.
Well, that's the case. Now, a few of the companies we talked to said they're going to try to keep as many people on the payroll. And what I've seen in the past is it's surprising. You can look at the damage and say, how will they ever get that business back running again? But from experience in Owensboro back in January, for example, there was a Winn-Dixie. They said, oh, we might be closed for weeks. They were open about 4 days later. So when people put their minds to something, it's amazing how quickly they can get rolling again.
And it can happen there in Leitchfield, too. Thank you, Jim, for that live update. Wave 3's Tom Wills and John Belsky tracked the tornado's path all afternoon yesterday. So what's ahead for tonight? Wave 3's John Belsky continues our live coverage from Storm Center 3. John?
Okay, Jackie. First of all, we want to mention about the National Weather Service did conduct their tornado survey this afternoon. And here's the official word on the Leitchfield tornado. An F3 tornado as winds peaked out at 175 miles per hour. Very powerful tornado. Now, also a lot of damage in the Campbellsville area. This was straight line winds of 70 miles per hour and a lot of large hail. In Burdick, just south of Campbellsville, they had an F0 tornado, winds of about 70 miles per hour. Here's how the rating scale goes. F0 up to 72 miles per hour, and that covers 29% of all tornadoes. And F1 goes to 112 miles per hour, and this is the most common tornado, 40% of all tornadoes. And F2, winds of up to 157, 24% of all tornadoes. And look at this, F3, very rare, only 6% of all tornadoes with winds to 206 miles per hour. F4, only 2% of all tornadoes, 260 miles per hour, and unfortunately less than 1% of all tornadoes are the massive F5 tornadoes. Now, last year I visited the University of Maryland wind tunnel to see what the winds would feel like, and the highest they take the winds up to are 115 miles per hour. Take a look at this.
And we're up to 65 now. So we're getting ready to break the speed limit, obviously, with this full force of this wind here. If I was not harnessed down, I would be blown away. 80 miles per hour now. I can still breathe, but I can feel my skin drying out here. Very difficult to stand. The noise is deafening out here. At 90 miles per hour. We're at 105 now. This is a Category 2 hurricane. 115 miles per hour. A Category 3 hurricane. You never felt anything like this before. You can feel the pressure pulling at you here.
115 is the maximum speed for people inside the tunnel. So after hitting that mark, the slowdown began.
115 mile per hour wind. It was, I didn't know what to expect.
miles an hour. Dozens of homes are damaged, destroyed. Insurance claims adjusters will be on hand tomorrow to help those families. And amazingly, nobody seriously hurt in all of this. Stay with Wave 3 News for continuing coverage of the tornado damage in Leitchfield. We're going to have much more tonight at 5:30 and 6. And, of course, John Belsky will be back to let us know if we have any more threatening weather headed this way. Well, nasty weather may have kept some people from voting in.
Forecast will take it through the holiday weekend. Call it a 30% chance of a thunderstorm this evening, then turning cooler tonight, low of 60. Tomorrow, high temperature 77, less humid. Any rain chance should be south of Elizabethtown for tomorrow. And Friday, 82, chance of storms late in the day. Saturday, also late afternoon or evening thunderstorms, 85. And then look at Sunday and Monday, 72,
Wow.
73.
Yippee.
All right. Do we have the rest of those kids there?
Oh, we're going to put them in at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
I'm going to have to make a deal now with the 6 o'clock producer, but
Stay tuned.
we'll do it. I'm going to get that in there.
Okay.
All right. John, this story's for you. I'm only kidding. It makes laundry even more of a chore. We're talking about stinky socks. But what if there was a sock that never smelled? His sock doesn't smell. There's a brand on the market that claims to do just that. We asked troubleshooter Julie Stewart to buy it and try it, and your feet don't smell either, do they, Julie?
Of course not. Mine and John's always smell like a rose. Can you believe this? This is a pair of the No Stink socks. We bought these from Land's End for about 20 bucks. You could tell how hard these guys work out every time they take off their shoes and socks. Woo! Be glad you don't have smell-o-vision. Most people's feet could use a good dose of deodorant. In fact, some doctors say your feet actually have more sweat glands than your armpits. That's why some doctors recommend you spray your feet with deodorant every day. If that doesn't appeal to you, this new sock called Ecstatic claims to eliminate that stinky smell. The socks are made with a silver-coated fiber that's supposed to stop the growth of fungus and bacteria that cause foot odor. But does it really do that? Well, these guys wore one Ecstatic sock and one of their regular socks to test the claims. So, do their feet normally stink?
No comment.
Then they put them to work.
Pop up.
Maureen Dutton has 3 boys, so she agreed to stop and smell the socks.
That smells bad.
She sniffed and sniffed and found no difference between the smell of the Ecstatic sock and the regular one. A second sniffer agreed.
That smells really bad.
Market.
That smells really bad too.
The Ecstatic socks cost about $8.50 a pair, so you may want to save your money. LL Bean and Land's End sell these socks. Jackie, I think if they could come up with a way so you don't lose them in the dryer, that would be something.
No kidding, and I'd have to pay those testers a lot of money to smell socks.
I know, she was a good sport.
All right, thank you, Julie. It is a dangerous ingredient found in too many homes in Kentucky. Coming up in Healthcast, a special report on lead paint. Still a lot of it around. Is it poisoning your children? One test may provide the life-saving answer.
The Wave 3 Market Report is brought to you by PNC, the thinking behind the money.
It's back, and it's big. It's the Great American Ford Sales Event. Choose from over 55,000 cars and trucks. Like Explore, now get $1,000 cash back or 3-9 financing plus $500 cash back. That's $1,000 cash back or 3-9 plus $500 cash back. Or grab Expedition with low 0-9 financing. That's 0-9 in Expedition. Even check out the new Sport Track now with the Great American Ford Sales Event. Hurry to your local Ford dealer today.
You know you make me wanna.
kicks off its first ever Family Fun Days this Sunday and Monday. Enjoy tons of activities and register to win a trip to Disney World. Gates open 11:30 a.m.
Spend Memorial Day weekend at Value City and spend less.
Okay, people, lunchtime. How about pizza?
Nah, burger place.
Boring. How about tacos?
Not again.
Got coupons.
You could spend your whole lunch hour deciding where to eat. Or you can spend it eating at Hometown Buffet. With over 90 items freshly prepared each day, everyone can get exactly what they want.
Chili dogs.
No.
Sushi.
No.
How about fish tacos?
Hometown Buffet. Great choice.
It is a hidden hazard for your children. Lead paint is poisonous, and yet it still covers the walls of many older homes in Kentuckyana. So what can you do about it? Health reporter Eldora Jackson has the answer in tonight's HealthCast. Eldora?
Well, Jackie, there's still plenty of lead in the Louisville community.
Not a problem.
That's right.
All right, thank you, Eldora. He and his 5 friends just got a big raise, but Matthew Perry will have to set aside some of that extra cash for an unexpected expense. We'll tell you why coming up next. And people in the news today, Matthew Perry, the Friends star, is going to need to do a little car shopping after crashing his Porsche into somebody's home over the weekend. Police say Perry swerved to avoid an oncoming car, lost control, rammed into the porch of the house. The actor was not hurt. Police say he was not on drugs or using alcohol. The homeowners are considering, though, framing the piece of the Porsche that ended up in their house. And in case you missed last week's season finale of Friends, tune in tonight for the big proposal at 8 o'clock. And after Friends, back-to-back episodes, all new Law & Order, followed by Wave 3 News at 11 o'clock. We have more amazing pictures from the tornado damage in Leitchfield. Also, a special report on volunteer firefighters, the backbone of many communities, and an Indy driver you need to meet, 19 years old, female, brave woman. That and more coming up next at 5:30.
Live from Wave 3 News, Wave Country's news leader. This is Wave 3 News at 5:30 with Scott Reynolds, Cheryl Case, meteorologist John Bilski, and Bob Dominey Sports.
The forces of nature take hold of a Kentucky community. Today, more than 24 hours after the storm, survivors return to Ground Zero in Grayson County, trying to start picking up the pieces. Tonight, we continue our live coverage of the tornado damage that changed lives in Leitchfield, but luckily didn't take any. And good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Reynolds.
And I'm Cheryl Case, live in Grayson County, where just 26 hours ago, a fast-moving, fierce tornado ripped through Leitchfield and hit the heart of this industrial park. It looks as if it just literally ripped the heart out, hitting at least 2 businesses with severe, major damage, if not a total loss for the companies and the people who work there. A total of 20 people hurt in this horrible storm, but fortunately, no one seriously hurt. That is amazing when you consider the damage that the storm left behind. 14 homes destroyed or leveled, 15 homes suffering major damage, and another 20 homes with some sort of damage. Officials are still trying to figure out how the mobile homes figure into those numbers. No estimate on that yet, but they are working to get that. If you see the pictures firsthand, I can tell you it is incredible. It is one thing to see the pictures that we're bringing you. They are awesome, but to see it firsthand, it is truly amazing. From Air 3, you can certainly get an incredible perspective. And for that, let's toss it up to Chris Parente, who has been flying around and surveying the damage all day. Chris?
Well, Cheryl, you're very right. The perspective from up here, it's unbelievable that more people were not hurt. This is truly a massive show of the destructive force of Mother Nature. A picturesque sunrise.
It's going to be staggering.
Reveals a nightmarish landscape.
Today's the day when we can go out and assess the county.
Homes demolished, businesses ripped apart. A 4-mile tornado trail that begins here on the north side of town.
We think about 80 homes across the county have been impacted.
The twister hits these homes, then tears through this industrial park.
where a lot of the tractor trailers at these factories were overturned.
Damage for these businesses alone in the millions. But the tornado continues to the southeast. It slams through this subdivision. What used to be family homes, now almost unrecognizable.
One day you've got this nice home and all your belongings, and in a few short minutes, it's gone. So it is devastating to some.
But the one thing perhaps just as amazing as the destruction is the cleanup effort. We've been here in Air 3 since about 9 o'clock this morning, and in just that time we can already see a difference. Crews have been working to clean up the debris, to gather it up in particular areas. Cheryl, they're working very hard to try and get life back to normal, and they do have an amazing willpower down there. They say they will return back to normal sooner rather than later.
It is amazing, Chris, when you think about the hard work ahead and when you've suffered such an emotional loss, not to mention the financial loss, how people pull together and get right back to work. Of course, the good news here today for their hard work ahead, they have had decent weather today. At least the skies are clear. They are not getting rained on as many people expected that they might possibly face today, but it is very warm. John Belsky, you know how tough it can be to do this hard work in the hot blazing sun, but at least the skies are clear for them today.
So far, so good on that, Cheryl. Although Leitchfield not out of the woods yet with a chance of thunderstorms this evening, and any thunderstorm that does pop up could be on the heavy side. Radar right now is showing one lone thunderstorm, and that's about 30 to 40 miles west of Bowling Green. That is it. So far, so good. Locally, a slight chance of a thunderstorm through the first half of the evening, and then that's about it. Now, Cheryl, a couple of things here to mention. First of all, the storm has estimated winds of 175 miles per hour, F3 tornado. Also, it was moving a little faster than most tornadoes. It moved through Leitchfield at a speed of about 45 miles per hour. So, for the folks that weren't aware the tornado was on the way, there wasn't a whole lot of time to take cover as it hit.
It's a good thing that Storm Center 3 was in action, though, John, letting people know what was ahead. I'm certain that helped people get to safety. I was talking with some folks in one of the businesses here at this industrial park, and they told me they did have enough warning to seek shelter. Fortunately, their building was not hurt, and the good news there, they're trying to lend a helping hand to the many other people who are looking at an incredible work ahead. Of course, the people here, many people here lost their homes, the businesses, again, this affects people not only day to day, but down the road, their livelihoods. What is going to happen to them? A heart of Litchfield's business community took a very, very hard hit today.
We don't really know right now how many are going to be out of work and for how long. Some are expecting 5 days or more, but from the looks of the damage, it looks like it's going to be a lot longer than that.
And that must be a very frustrating situation if you are an employee here at this industrial park. We can tell you that about 3,500 people work here in this park, and about 2,000 of them have been affected by storm damage. Whether that means they're working partially or they'll be off the job for some time is still unclear right now. We imagine many people will be applying for some assistance, unemployment at the very least, and those offices could be very crowded tomorrow. One of the businesses here that was really hard hit is Office Furniture by Styleline. It is the business that is directly behind me. It is amazing that no one was hurt in this storm when you look at the pictures from that business. It may be some time before they rebuild. Not exactly sure. We're hoping to get more information, but we have been told there is at least one company considering to possibly shut down, and that will add to the bleak picture for the many people here trying to get things back together. Scott, we've got much more coverage coming up in this half hour. We'll also give you some information on where you can get those down, tree limbs picked up, and how you can take care of some of the debris if you've been affected by the storm. So we'll be back with that important information in just a bit, but now we'll toss it back to you.
All right, thanks, Cheryl Case, live tonight in Leitchfield. Here's the bottom line on tonight's top story. People are on the road to rebuilding in Grayson County after an F3 tornado tore through the area yesterday afternoon. That means winds reached 175 miles an hour. No one died, though. No one seriously hurt by the twister. It did destroy about 40 homes and damage dozens more. Topping other headlines tonight, good news for one of the key players in the President Clinton-Monica Lewinsky scandal. Prosecutors say they will drop wiretapping charges against Linda Tripp. She tape-recorded conversations with Lewinsky that led to the impeachment of the president. Maryland prosecutors say a judge's decision limiting testimony from Lewinsky left them without a case. The world's largest airline wants to get even larger. Today, United Airlines announced plans to buy U.S. Airways. If approved by the government, United would have more than 6,400 daily flights and serve 200 cities worldwide. And just in time for the Memorial Day weekend, an update on that gas price crisis. You probably noticed the increase yourself at the pumps. Now analysts have crunched the numbers and say prices jumped 11 cents since May 1st. The average...
Hear from those who rode out the storm as the small town of Leitchfield begins its recovery.
And we take you to Rowdy, Kentucky, where it really does get rowdy. Teenagers mimic the heroes of the World Wrestling Federation.
And first tonight, the infamous Hearn served the community after stealing from school children.
And good evening, everyone. First tonight, a story you'll only see here on WHAS 11, a first look at the community service work that Jim and Patty Hearn are performing in Louisville.
Tonight, we found the couple who stole thousands from the Jefferson County school system standing behind a dinner counter serving food to the homeless. Brooke Willis joins us with tonight's Night